When I say you're going on a mission trip to Africa, what images come to your mind? Orphans? Poverty? AIDS? Exotic wildlife? Village people living their everyday lives? A heroic American surrounded by sweet and perfect dark faces? What do you expect to happen while you're there? Will you pray for the sick? Will you sing songs of praise with your brothers and sisters who live halfway across the globe? Will you love on children? Will you see many come to Christ? Will people flock to hear what you have to say simply because you look different? When I journeyed to Zambia with the SI team, a few of these expectations were in the back of my mind whether I knew it or not. This is something that going to church for the majority of my life had prepared me for. Finally, I was going to walk on the soil of another country and preach the gospel. We had the opportunity to go out and witness on the streets of a compound in Lusaka. As I nervously awaited to see who God was going to have me speak to, I quickly realized that our translators, although there to translate our English to Nyanja, started to do most of the talking. They did not need to be the middleman between me, a young Christian American, and the lost soul we were speaking to. The translator did not need my words. They had their own. Christ in them compelled them to share the gospel. I was not doing ministry for them or to them. I was alongside them, doing ministry with them. Now, this is definitely different than the images that I had in my mind on the way here. I thought that I would get to be the hero. Not that I would think that in such a selfish way, but it's just kind of an underlying assumption that we carry when we go over to what we consider to be less fortunate countries. Yes, there's poverty. There's poverty in America, there's poverty in Africa, there's poverty all over this world. But that does not make them incapable or incompetent to share the gospel. Who's going to do it when the Americans aren't there? I might never go back to Africa again. The entire strategic impact team might never have the opportunity to go back to Africa again. That's a little dramatic, but in the case of this happening, who will carry on the message? That is exactly what Strategic Impact strives to do. Their vision is that nationals would reach nationals, that Africa would reach Africa. Africa will never fully be reached with the gospel until Africa reaches Africa. It is the only sustainable way to carry the message so far and so deep to people who have never heard the name of Jesus. We cannot afford to count up salvations just to publish them on our website. We cannot afford to just go on short-term mission trips a few times out of our lives and then sum it all up on social media. There needs to be training, there needs to be discipleship, there needs to be relationships. The moment of salvation is a beautiful thing, but that is not where it stops. I witnessed firsthand this beautiful vision being carried out. Africa is reaching Africa, and this does not happen with just one or two heroic people. This is a multiplying effect that explodes out from people who are willing to catch this vision. Leaders discipling leaders, churches planting churches, and souls being saved, lives being changed, continents being reached. It's simple. It's the Great Commission. It is what Jesus challenged us to do. So are we going to make this missions thing about us? Pat ourselves on the back for finally being thankful for where we live and learning so much from the less fortunate? Or are we going to partner with them, holding hands, side by side, empowering them to reach their own countries as we strive to reach our own?